Welcome to our podcast dedicated to empowering supply chain leaders with cutting-edge strategies. We're thrilled to have you with us today as we explore a fascinating real-world success story.
Absolutely. Today, we're diving into how a leading manufacturing company leveraged digital transformation through SAP IBP's Demand Module to revolutionize its forecasting accuracy.
Joining us today are two key players in this transformation. We have Mira, a seasoned demand planner, and Vishal, the SAP IBP consultant who guided this journey toward process maturity.
Welcome, Mira and Vishal. We're excited to hear your insights.
Hi everyone, I'm Vishal, an SAP IBP solutions consultant specializing in driving value realization through optimized planning processes. Our organizational mandate was clear: deliver a 10% improvement in forecast accuracy within the first 12-month period to unlock capital.
And I'm Mira, a demand planner. I'm excited to share how we achieved a step change in operational efficiency for our strategic $500 million revenue stream, moving beyond outdated methodologies to a unified platform. Vishal, before IBP, our forecasting was a significant source of operational friction. It wasn't just inaccurate. The complexity itself consumed resources.
I recall our first assessment. You described your planning engine being hindered by low planning fidelity. Can you detail the hidden costs associated with maintaining that legacy complexity for our listeners?
Absolutely. Our forecast error represented a severe margin leakage. We were consistently hitting a high mean absolute percentage error, MAPE, of 30% at the final assembly level. This high error rate necessitated massive financial buffers. We estimated this directly caused $12 million annually in inventory write-downs on obsolescence and reactive expedited freight costs just to fulfill late orders.
That high forecast error translates directly to a lack of agility and excessive costs. To compensate for this 30% uncertainty, what was the practical implication on your inventory strategy and lead times?
Our safety stock levels were excessive, often covering 10 to 12 weeks of historical demand, tying up nearly 25% of our total operational budget in working capital. This high inventory liability was a direct penalty for our poor planning. Furthermore, the lack of confidence meant our raw material suppliers, recognizing our internal volatility, often enforced stricter 90-day lead times and higher minimum order quantities, MOQs, despite our attempts to negotiate better terms.
Beyond the lack of single-number forecasting, you had significant resource strain. You mentioned the fragmentation of data sources. How many people were dedicated solely to data aggregation versus actual market analysis?
We had a team of 4 analysts dedicated full-time, about 80% of their collective time, just performing data harmonization from 4 disparate legacy ERP and BI systems. This wasn't analysis. It was clerical work. The lack of standardized data meant every single S&OP meeting began with an hour-long debate over data integrity.
That shadow forecasting you dealt with is the ultimate sign of a broken governance model and organizational mistrust. It means the true planning cycle was happening in silos, outside the official process.
Precisely. Finance would maintain its own financial forecast, sales its quota forecast, and we, planning, had the operational forecast. This internal misalignment was costing us valuable time and resources every single month.
Our mission was clear: establish planning rigor, apply robust methodologies, and foster cross-functional alignment. We targeted a reduction of at least 40% in manual planner intervention time. We leveraged 3 key pillars within the SAP IBP Demand Module. First, automated data cleansing and harmonization. We configured IBP for advanced outlier detection and correction across the complex dataset of 15,000 SKUs. IBP's ability to identify and neutralize promotional spikes or errors was immediate. This established a high-quality, standardized data foundation from day one.
This foundation was critical. It freed up over 20 hours per planner per month previously spent on data entry. This was the first major step in building trust within the planning team itself. They could finally focus on high-value exception management, not reconciliation.
Exactly. Our second pillar was intelligent statistical forecasting. We didn't just pick one method. IBP's powerful engine automatically applies the best fit algorithm tailored for each product's specific demand profile. This capability leveraged complex mathematical analysis to significantly reduce the statistical forecast error to an average of 18% right out of the gate, achieving our target baseline accuracy almost immediately.
The system's ability to drive optimal model selection based on time series characteristics injected a level of mathematical sophistication that vastly improved our baseline accuracy. It allowed us to accurately model seasonality and trends, which was previously impossible with standard spreadsheet functions.
We spent considerable time calibrating those algorithms. Can you speak to the vital role of system transparency in overcoming resistance to trusting an algorithmically driven baseline?
The key was the system's transparency. IBP doesn't just provide a forecast, it exposes the confidence interval, e.g., a 90% confidence level, the model it chose, and the historical forecast error rate of that specific model. When planners could see the mathematics behind the prediction, the trust built quickly. We showed them that the statistical model was 95% faster and 15% more accurate than their legacy manual approach.
And the third pillar, collaborative consensus planning. We institutionalized a structured demand review process. This enabled sales, marketing, and finance to access the statistical baseline and integrate their market sensing intelligence to finalize a single, accountable consensus forecast within the unified IBP environment.
The system enforced cross-functional alignment. The system became the single source of truth, used by over 50 stakeholders organization-wide, ending the debate culture.
Let's quantify this success. What were the tangible results observed in your key business metrics post-implementation, delivering true value realization?
The results were a significant value realization. In the first 6 months, our overall forecast error dropped by a remarkable 12 percentage points, stabilizing at a fantastic 18% MAPE.
That level of error reduction is a massive driver of cash flow. How did this improved accuracy impact your customer experience and inventory strategy?
For our strategic product lines, some even saw a 15-point reduction. This directly translated into a decrease in our inventory holding costs by 8%, saving the company over $4 million in carrying costs annually. Critically, our customer service levels improved by 5% across all major segments, moving us into the top quartile for customer satisfaction.
That reduction in capital tied up is significant. Did you notice finance changing their perspective on the planning function after demonstrating this direct impact on working capital?
Absolutely. Finance now views us as a key contributor to financial stability. The improved accuracy allowed them to lower the financial buffer in our working capital forecasts by $6 million. This increased our overall budget credibility. The entire S&OP process, supported by IBP, now delivers a 95% compliant demand plan every cycle, providing reliable inputs to the financial planning process.
It sounds like the forecast moved from being an unreliable input to a strategic asset.
Precisely. It elevated the planning team's role from reactive data processors to strategic business partners.
Achieving those results required a cultural pivot. How did you manage the organizational change, especially for a large team of planners transitioning away from familiar spreadsheets?
We focused heavily on user experience and training. Using IBP's Excel-based planning views was paramount, keeping the interface familiar for our team of 15 planners. Crucially, we structured 75% of our training around value-adding business scenarios, focusing on the what's in it for me factor rather than just technical clicks.
Where was the tipping point? The moment you confirmed the shift to process maturity?
It was during our first major monthly demand review. The discussion immediately moved to, why did sales override the statistical forecast for product X? The time spent on preparing the demand review deck dropped from 3 days to 4 hours. The shift was entirely from data reconciliation to strategic decision-making. That was the cultural victory, the transition to a planning-focused organization.
You mentioned the delicate transition with veteran planners. How did you handle the risk of power shifting away from those who relied heavily on intuition and historical knowledge?
We were very deliberate in positioning IBP as a tool for augmenting their domain expertise. Their value shifted dramatically. They became the guardians of market intelligence. We gave them ownership of the forecast value added, FVA metric, making them accountable for proving that their judgment improved the system's baseline by at least 2 percentage points in their respective product categories. This formalized their intuition into a quantifiable process.
So you institutionalized intuition, essentially. That's a powerful change management technique. Let's discuss sustainability. Moving to IBP is about implementing formal governance to protect the realized gains. What key control mechanisms did you embed in the platform and the process?
We established robust target versus actuals tracking and, crucially, started monitoring forecast value added, FVA, across 6 core business segments. This ensures any manual adjustments actively contribute positive value to the statistical baseline, minimizing subjective bias. Our corporate target FVA for human intervention is strictly greater than 0.
And how did you tackle the systemic behavioral issue of bias, the tendency to habitually over or under forecast?
We leveraged IBP's built-in analytics to monitor systematic over or under forecasting by product family, planner, and region. Any planner exceeding a 5% cumulative monthly bias threshold receives immediate coaching and review. This objective metric introduced a new level of planning accountability tied directly to performance reviews.
Excellent. That formalizes the continuous feedback loop, which is essential for sustained accuracy. From a governance perspective, how did you utilize the IBP audit logs to improve compliance and resolve cross-functional disputes effectively?
The audit logs are critical for compliance and process enforcement. For example, if a sales director challenged a number, we could pull the IBP history and show precisely who changed the number, when, and the required justification, reason code, they provided. 99% of all manual forecast adjustments now contain a valid reason code, eliminating subjective debates and reinforcing the single version of the truth. This level of traceability significantly streamlined our SOX compliance documentation.
It sounds like you not only improved the forecast, but also achieved higher internal control maturity.
Exactly. The transparency forced a higher standard of discipline across the entire planning ecosystem. Having achieved this level of core planning competence, what's the next phase of our digital journey to maximize return on investment?
The future lies in enhancing predictive intelligence through the next generation of IBP functionality. We are activating the machine learning workbench within IBP. This will allow us to integrate 10 to 15 key external variables, such as competitor promotional spend data, regional weather patterns, or macroeconomic indicators like GDP into your models. We project this shift to predictive sensing will drive a further 2 to 3 percentage point reduction in the forecast error.
This focus on external sensing is our next strategic frontier. We've optimized internal controls. Now, we are augmenting that internal view with true market context. It's moving from perfecting internal metrics to mastering external market prediction.
Precisely. We can set up A/B testing on different ML models right within IBP to continuously challenge and optimize the forecast without disrupting the daily planning cycle. Mira, how do you see this continuous optimization supporting supply chain resiliency in an era of volatility?
It's absolutely vital. Forecast accuracy isn't a destination. It's a discipline requiring continuous investment. We are committing $150,000 this year to continuous model review and retraining. Specifically, we plan to use IBP's built-in scenario planning tools to rigorously test the resilience of our models against potential market disruptions, such as a 20% spike in critical raw material costs or a 10-day disruption in key port operations. This moves us toward truly risk-aware planning.
Absolutely. Integrating external volatility analysis is key to maintaining a highly resilient and responsive supply chain, mitigating future risks proactively.
What a powerful discussion on driving value realization through planning transformation. Mira and Vishal have highlighted how the strategic implementation of SAP IBP's Demand Module can lead to remarkable business outcomes. From reducing forecast error to 18%, to realizing $4 million in annual inventory savings and achieving unprecedented planning maturity. Thank you for tuning in to the Bestowal podcast. If you're looking to elevate your demand planning or optimize your supply chain strategy, let's connect. Our consultants would be happy to guide you. And don't forget to subscribe for more expert insights, practical solutions, and success stories in the world of SAP and digital transformation.